Hey there, ladies and gents, it's me, Sunny at Atlas Health Nutrition, and today I'm just here to share, a recent experience I had meeting someone who was a raw food vegetarian for over 7 years, and it was just amazing just how deadly grains can be when, especially if you're a hardcore vegetarian, which Rob Wolf in the Paleo Solution, the original human diet, Rob talks about the dangers of going hardcore vegetarian, especially when you're still, eating grains, which damages your stomach, damages your intestinal lining, and causes, crazy immune reactions, which leads to swelling and inflammation and a whole host of other diseases. And she was a prime example, and so was I originally back about roughly 3 or 4 years ago. And the terrible part was, of course, that she didn't realize that she was always hungry. She just showed all the same symptoms, of someone who's suffering what we call insulin resistance or having trouble being able to handle blood sugar because of the high carbohydrates in, the grains, plus the fact that it had gluten, which was pretty much, wrecking her system by causing that immune system response and inflammation. So it was pretty serious for that reason. And I had to give her the advice that I've learned over the last several years about cutting out grains, about eating more protein and more fat so that she can feel more sated and less hungry all the time. And we had a conversation for an hour or two, and I sent her the resources, which I have here on a reading list, and told her to come back to me in the new year with her progress, and said try it for 30 days, just as Rob Wolf would have suggested, and see how you feel, to heal her stomach and recover from the damage from, gluten proteins or any other sort of gluten-like proteins that you can find in grains. So that's my quick update. It was just so terrible to hear how she was suffering. She now had high blood pressure. Her joints were always, swollen and swelling because of arthritis. Her fingers were swelling to the point that she couldn't move her thumb. And she was always hungry. And because she was only eating vegetables and she had no meat, and she really wasn't working on taking care of the other, causes of inflammation and ways of staying full, because once you start eating gluten, that really wrecks the signaling system in your stomach. It messes up how your stomach tells your brain, yes, I'm full. No, I'm not full. So she also had to deal with the fact that grains are often made with a lot of soy, and soy, grains, and everything else, even in the health food industry, is poisoned with too much soy. Because soy is cheap, soy is wasted, there's waste byproducts that's just like garbage. It's just simply sent away to be used in grains to make oil, and that increases omega-6, which is a negative hormone factor, or fat factor in the human body. You need omega-3 fatty acids to help balance out. That's the positive factor. And keeping those in a special 1:1, 1:2, natural 1:1, 1:2 ratio is how you stay healthy. But when that ratio is broken, when you take in more omega-6 than omega-3, then what you have is, again, swelling, inflammation, things that lead off to other diseases like diabetes, Alzheimer's, neurological diseases, things like that. And it's such a serious issue that she didn't even realize. She had went to her doctor to talk about this, and even the doctor couldn't even help her. And it was the same in my situation before when I had that issue several years ago. My thumbs were swelling to almost, twice their size, red all the time, so were my feet. And she was suffering similar instances, and it was starting to really affect her health. And really, I told her, try this out. What do you have to lose, right? It's better than trying to take medications where you're simply a band-aid over the problem, because you're still taking the very poisons that are causing your condition. And instead of just trying to use drugs to manage the poison, stop taking the poison, which is grains, gluten, and gluten-like proteins in things like rice, in corn, and all of that. So that's an update of one recent person who I've been trying to help. There are others. I've met a celiac on Facebook who lives in New York, who's been having trouble, again, with how do you, now that you know that you're having trouble with gluten and grains, what do you do to solve that problem? And she turned to me for advice, and I've had to help her out, telling her the same thing. The solution is simple, with the motivation, the inspiration, the ability to really take up that path, to realize that, agriculture and grains and cheap carbohydrates with its deadly allergies, because that's what it is, an allergy, and humans weren't made to eat wheat, is causing a lot of problems. So anyways, more to update you later, of course. Take care, stay fit, and avoid the grains.